A slop YouTuber has weighed in on genocide once more. It is a long video, but I'm going to at least look at a part of it in order to have my brain broken by a fucking moron who should not be talking about these things, yet who nonetheless wants to. Let us look at this guy who thinks that he should be talking about genocide here first, okay? Let's take a look. What kind of videos does he make? Okay. Video game censorship has gotten insane. Video about fat people. Video about hating trans people. I'm dating a broke loser. Girl pranks the police. Suing Lyft because you're fat. Ruining your life for TikTok views. The failures of diversity hiring. Why they are trying to censor anime. Now it's time to weigh in to an argument over an ongoing genocide. Normally making videos about video game small boobies or whatever the fuck it is. Time for a video on genocide. What could this guy possibly have to add to this debate? Well, nothing, obviously. This guy is an incapable, know-nothing idiot, and that he is weighing in on this in the first place is disgusting. The only place for someone like this to possibly weigh in on something like this is to post like a statement condemning the genocide on social media or something. But no, don't worry. He made a video reiterating Ethan Klein's genocidal propaganda and defending it right here. Let's check it out, folks. Like, the thumbnail, there's no clue. It doesn't clue you into the fact the video is about what is clearly an argument over genocide. It's just, this guy's a nice guy. This is disgusting. The description of this video is about Ethan Klein suing Noah Samsen for defamation. No, the video is about genocide. You can't disconnect this from the fucking topic of the video, which is pure a political argument over one side that backs genocide and one that doesn't. So let's see how you possibly get around that. Which, to be clear, you're not going to be able to. But the fact that you saw a video about genocide and tried to make it interpersonal, yeah, that basically says all that there is to say about you, your channel, your ability to do anything at all.
On YouTube, for the past few years, there's a big industry that's exploded in popularity, and it's based on a simple concept. Hassan, bad. Hasan Piker is bad, and he's dumb, and bad and a terrorist, probably. It's also wild because the political content creator in question is an anti-genocide content creator, and the arguments they're attacking him for are anti-genocide arguments. So these creators, they're positioning themselves in opposition to him and his arguments, de facto positioning themselves on the pro-genocide side.
Well, I mean, maybe these people don't like Hasan Piker because he says a lot of dumb things that aren't always related to the Israel-Palestine situation.
Well, no. The examples that he brought up are specifically in regards to Israel-Palestine. All of it is about Israel-Palestine. Ethan Klein's hatred of Hasan Piker, which is what you pertain to be responding to here, is all in regards to Israel-Palestine. All of it is. Is this the kind of content this guy makes? Like a random picture of a city? A random picture of a fucking city where he just says the first shit that comes to mind? This is your content? And you sound like you're 14 years old. This is you? What is this? Why do these dumb fucks keep weighing in on genocide?
In fact, most of the criticism towards him over the years has nothing to do with that at all.
This is literally, the video that he's making is specifically about genocide. This is a fucking 4chan post. Oh my god.
But according to
Look guys, I found this 4chan post on a Google image search.
Noah, anyone who criticizes Hassan now loves...
No, he said the people in question, the examples that he flashed on the fucking screen, are people who are criticizing him specifically regarding things that he's saying regarding the ongoing genocide. That was what was said, okay? I criticize Hasan Piker. I don't criticize him because he's on the right side of a genocide, though, okay? There's a different... Can you understand these concepts? No, you can't, you dumb fuck, because everything for you is interpersonal creator drama, or they remove the big tits from my video game. You operate on a level of intelligence that is so below average that I don't even think you can understand these basic concepts of, like, criticizing someone because they said genocide is bad or they're against it or whatever. It's not the same thing as criticizing them for something else. Like, your example here is basically that he's rich. Okay, that's a totally different thing.
Okay, I'm loving the us versus them mentality. And, well, I think
the us versus them mentality. The us versus them mentality when it comes to a genocide is the only mentality. What the fuck are you talking about?
Time for the yearly Noah Samsen check-in. Last time was pretty crazy with the Alienation stuff, but this time Noah seems to be even more off his meds than usual. I guess he decided that slandering one of his opponents to try to get his audience to deplatform that opponent wasn't enough.
So wait, you're only even making this video not because you care about the fucking issue at hand, but because you don't like the person who talked about it. Like, what spurs you into action is that? Like, you just dictate your political beliefs based on, I don't like this guy. He's talking about this issue, so I'm going to defend this other guy who is, to be clear, explicitly defending genocide just because he's against it. This
he's
is
slandering
so
a bunch of big YouTubers
insane.
to try to get his audience to, well, we'll get to that. But first, a little backstory on the whole Hasan Piker, Noah Samsen, and Ethan Klein situation. About 2 months ago, YouTuber Ethan Klein released a content nuke on his former Leftovers podcast co-host, Hasan Piker, who has endorsed things like terrorism, has violated the Twitch rules numerous times, and never gets in trouble for it like any other creator who is not.
Oh my god. He's just trying to frame a video, which, to be clear, I have refuted this video in exhaustive depth. Basically, every time that Ethan Klein attempts to make a statement of fact, it's wrong. Everything. It's just fucking incorrect. Check it out. On my channel right here. Content Czar Bomber, Ethan Klein. Go watch that. You'll have a good time. So obviously, he doesn't even delve into the video, doesn't delve into anything about it. He just tells you what to think about it and then moves on.
Hassan would. Some people might call that a double standard. In response to Ethan's video, boosted e-girl Noah Samsen, who basically has had his entire career made by Hassan reacting to his videos, decided that he can't have people criticizing his pay pig, because if people point out all the rule breaking that...
I'm pretty sure what he made is a video about genocide. So the evidence of this, right, that you could think that it's about genocide. And by the way, it wouldn't matter if the video was framed around Hasan Piker or whoever, because the facts are what matters. What should matter to you are the fucking facts, not, oh, I don't like Hasan Piker, I don't like Noah Samsen, but he's made like 10 fucking videos all about Israeli genocide. All of these videos, like nothing but Israeli genocide videos for like 6 months now. Okay, so he's like, oh, he only made this video because it's Hassan. Then how do you explain the other 9 videos about Israel, Palestine that aren't about Hassan, okay? And even if it was about Hassan, who fucking cares? What the facts and the evidence are what fucking matters, and they should matter to you, but they don't matter to you because you're a YouTuber who makes videos about video game tits being too small.
Hassan has done and he gets banned from Twitch. Who would boost all of Noah's
videos?
videos?
Who gives a shit, man? Get to the part where you try to talk about something of substance, if you ever do. It's a random image I found on Google as I talk over it with gut. Who watches this? Who is this for? There's no way this audience is more than 12 years old.
And look, personally, I don't have a lot of interest in this war. I'm not a
what?
big
Then
fan
why are
of
you
the US
commenting
getting
on
involved
this?
with other people's drama. And contrary to Noah's
Then why are you
one-sided
commenting on a video that's explicitly about this genocide, not this war? You're already doing genocide apologia by using a fucking euphemistic term for it.
coverage, it seems like both sides have done some pretty horrible things.
We get a literally both sides. Before we're even at the 3-minute mark, we're like 2% into the video, and we literally get well, I think both sides are bad.
It's not about fact-checking Noah's research on Israel and Palestine.
Then why the fuck are you here? This is not about fact-checking. Then why are you here? Why are you delving into a video about genocide if this is not what it's about for you? How can you possibly respond to this video about genocide without addressing the facts about the genocide? You can't, because it's fundamentally a video that is about contesting the facts on genocide. What this is someone who is too fucking pussy to admit that they know nothing and they shouldn't be delving into this topic. So what they're doing is they're trying to smuggle in their support for this genocide by framing it as an interpersonal thing. And they're going to go through this and do nothing but try to make you sympathetic to the Israelis doing genocide over their Palestinian victims. Basically, this is going to be standpoint epistemology from a clear, far right-winger. A guy who usually does nothing but complain about, oh, why you have to bring race into it, man? Why you have to bring gender into it, man? Come on, man. It's just identity politics. I'm so sick of it. What he's going to do is be like, but did you ever consider the Israeli standpoint? What about Ethan Klein's standpoint here? Who cares about the actual facts? Who cares about, the genocide? Who cares about the fact that this has been denounced as genocide by practically every single respectable global human rights organization? All that matters is my standpoint epistemology. And he's going to invoke anti-Semitism a bunch as well. I can't wait, man.
Which I'm sure is as horrendous as it usually is. What this video is actually about
I'm sure.
is Noah Samsen pushing his audience towards violent radicalism through slandering other creators and openly calling for his audience to use violence to achieve their political goals. That being said, let's go.
If you're against the use of violence for political goals, why are you not denouncing the Israeli genocide? What is that if not violence for political goals, if not violence being employed for the express purpose of literally eliminating the Palestinian people of Gaza for the purpose of taking that land for themselves? How is that not violence for political goals? You don't even denounce that. You don't say anything about that. So no, you're not against political violence. You're for political violence of the worst kind. What you're against is violence in response to the violence that you support. That's what you're against. And even an inkling of that, you cannot abide. We fucking see you. We know what you are. You're a dime a dozen, a dumb fucking 12 IQ idiot who just supports genocide because it makes your fucking little Western skinny, I mean, skinny is probably very generous, white boy feelings feel better. And you took a break from making videos about small video game tits to make this.
Go further into detail for why Noah didn't like Ethan's content nuke on Hassan.
The real reason I'm talking about Ethan's video today is less about what he says in it and more about what he doesn't say, the things he chooses to leave out. Ethan omits the Palestinian side of the story entirely. He doesn't talk about Gaza. He doesn't give any specifics about what Israel is doing there. And this is an issue. Western media manufactures consent for large-scale terror operations across the globe in a number of ways. There are more overt forms like atrocity propaganda. There are also more subtle ways like deceptively framing information, using passive language. And
Noah does basically all of this in his video. So wait. It's not about the facts. It's not about the facts you said. And then you go here and you say that he's lying about the facts, actually. You literally put this text on screen that claims that he's lying about the facts. So it is about the facts then. Essentially, what you're saying is that what he's saying, which is, there's genocide in Gaza, Israel's committing all these atrocities, blah, blah, blah. You're saying that it's wrong. That's what you're saying, because that's fundamentally what he says during this video. I don't particularly care about this war. I think both sides are bad. I'm not going to contest the facts. What I care about is his defense of Hasan Piker and his slanderous attacks on poor little Ethan Klein. And then it's like, actually, he gets the facts wrong too. I'd love for you to show us.
False perceptions about conflicts through things like burying the lead and lies by omission. All of these tactics are present in Ethan's video and the wider online smear campaign that motivated it, but it's that last thing that I think does quite a bit of damage, lying by omission.
So this is incredibly dishonest framing from Noah. Ethan's video is more about Hassan and not fully a response to the Israel-Palestine situation.
Ethan's video is literally all about fucking Israel-Palestine. There is practically nothing in it that is not directly related to Israel-Palestine. Literally, the scene that you're showing here on the screen is Ethan Klein, who specifically got angry at this Yemeni teenager because this Yemeni teenager supports Yemen's attacks against Israel in response to the Israeli genocide. That is what this fucking clip they use as an example is about. In the back, we see Frogan. Why does Ethan Klein hate Frogan so much? Because she literally had a bit during some Twitch event where she said that like Sabra hummus, an Israeli brand of hummus, like someone who likes the Sabra brand of hummus doesn't get the pass to say the word Habibi. That is directly fucking related to Israel. Everything about this is directly related to Israel. It's not the video isn't about Hassan. The video is about Hasan Piker supporting Palestine. One of the longest segments of this video is specifically Ethan Klein making a fucking pro-Israel argument, whitewashing the Nakba by saying that actually the Jews had the right to fucking steal Palestine because of historical Jewish oppression. Everything about the video is about Israel-Palestine. There's not a single segment of it that is not directly related. The entire dispute stems solely from that. Nothing else. You can't disconnect these things, and you're not going to be able to either.
Is going to talk about the Israel side a lot more because he's playing opposition to Hassan. When you're wrong about something, it makes sense to do it because you're just playing opposition. So there's a genocide going on, and you're just playing opposition? What else is there more to say about this? Because this is insane. Still, Ethan makes a point in his video to sympathize with what's happening to the Palestinians in Gaza.
Okay, so listen up here. Very quick, okay? When there's a genocide going on, and you take the perspective opposite of that to someone who you don't like, which is anti-genocide in this case, you support the genocide. You don't just play devil's advocate on this. What you're doing here is the equivalent of taking up the Nazi side during the Holocaust. Do you even hear what you're saying? Are you a sentient person? No, you're not, obviously. What the fuck are you talking about? He's sympathetic to the people in Palestine? How?
Funnily enough, Noah actually includes one of these moments in his video, but he is such a sociopath that he takes this moment that Ethan is using to sympathize with the Palestinians and uses it to attack him.
Towards the start of his video, Ethan mentions a death toll figure of 40,000 Palestinian people.
Of course, if you compare the raw numbers, Gazans have lost a lot more than Israelis. 40,000 people have died, and neighborhoods have been completely flattened during this war.
The figure he cites is wrong.
He calls it a war. There's a war, literally a whitewash, and yeah, the figure is wrong.
Credible estimates have placed the full scale of the slaughter in Gaza at over 65,000 deaths due to traumatic injury.
Who cares if you got the number wrong? That's not the point of this statement. The point is to do...
Of course the number being wrong is fucking important. He's downplaying the extent of a genocide, which he calls a war, obviously.
Something that Noah, the nice guy of YouTube, has never really gotten the hang of, which is to spend at least a second of your video showing the humanity in your opponent. I really find it disgusting that instead...
Oh, great! Thank fucking God, man! I'm so glad that during Ethan Klein's pro-genocide propaganda video, he took a second to remind us of how many people have been killed in that genocide and pretend to care about them, and then he goes on to do propaganda that enables more of them being killed. You want to see an explicit example of that? Let me fucking show you. We just went over it in a previous clip that we just just watched, Ethan Klein literally fucking argued Israel is forced into bombing hospitals, not because they are carrying out a genocide of the Palestinian people with the explicit goal, openly stated goal of ethnically cleansing them / genociding them and taking the land for themselves. No. He said they bomb the hospitals because Hamas forces them to. For you, this is someone who has sympathy with Palestinians, as he's like, you know what, we need to bomb them. This is like looking at someone saying it is a shame that so many Jews needed to die, but it's for the good of the Reich during World War II, and being like, as you see, he humanized his opponents.
It's going to help end the war, not fucking keeping hostages and underground and sending... just continuing to provoke Israel to attack them.
As he says, Palestinians provoke Israel to attack them. They're responsible for their own genocide. This is him spreading straight up Israeli IDF genocide propaganda. This is like citing fucking Goebbels uncritically when he talks about supposed Jewish crimes against Germans.
And putting fucking military complexes under
complexes under hospitals. You want more examples? There's fucking plenty of them. This guy is spreading genocidal propaganda right fucking there. We see it. And you think that he can get away with that just because he made a token little denouncement. It's like seeing a Nazi downplay the figures of the Holocaust and then go on to do everything possible to justify the Holocaust and being like, this absolves him, okay? We got him. Point disproven entirely. And the whole video goes on to explain how he justifies and supports genocide. And he just ignores it.
Instead of using this moment to find common ground with Ethan, Noah
There's no common ground. One supports genocide, the other doesn't.
Plays Ethan trying to humanize the Palestinians.
Trying to humanize the Palestinians. If he thinks they're human, then it's even worse that he supports that genocide.
Later in the video, as he chastises Ethan for daring to donate to Palestinian victims.
Hey, Ethan Klein, thank you for the
Yeah,
dono.
that's fucking funny. I've gone over this before. Ethan Klein himself donates $6,500. Nothing for him and nothing in the grand scheme of things. He donated that and now he holds it over people's heads when he's a fucking millionaire. It's nothing for him. And he's since gone on to say that people who have donated millions of dollars did nothing because it doesn't matter. So someone trying to whitewash their genocide supporting image by donating a fucking token amount of money. You see that and you're like, how dare you? How dare you discount this with, to be clear, very logically sound arguments. Obviously, he did this for self-serving reasons to try and make himself look good, and they don't outweigh his pro-genocide propaganda. But this fucking moron, he's just like, how dare you? How could you even think this was wrong? How could you even possibly be against this? It's a donation of money to help Palestinians. How could you possibly call out his cynical reasons for doing this, and the fact that his wider pro-genocide rhetoric easily cancels this out a million times over? How dare you? You know how dare I could do that easily? And I will continue doing it. What you're doing here is nothing more than ironically, what you consider to be SJW tactics. How dare you? How dare you say that? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? What Ethan Klein did here is a term that I'm sure you use a lot. Virtue signaling. He donates a tiny little amount of money that for him means nothing. And then he goes about his day and spreads more genocide propaganda. Textbook virtue signaling. And your entire argument is, how could you claim that he's unvirtuous? How dare you do that? Incredible mind.
$6,500. My goat.
What did he do? He donated to a fundraiser. Okay. But what if I told you that this donation was a one-time donation of what is likely less than 1% of his yearly income?
Gee, with a thank you like that, why would anyone want to help the Palestinians?
The point is that he doesn't help them. The point is that he legitimizes and supports that genocide. Why are you skipping over all of that?
Ethan Klein wasn't too happy about the slander from Noah Samsen, especially the part where Noah called him a supporter of mass murder of innocent people that Ethan, by the way,
he demonstrably is,
in reality sent money to and openly sympathized with on multiple occasions. So now lawyers are getting involved.
And again, I'm not taking
It's funny how he doesn't actually try to refute the pro-genocide thing.
any prisoners. If my attorney thinks there's anything in here, if he thinks that there's a decent shot of defamation,
This is so embarrassing to support this.
Scumbag. It's not a threat. You'll be hearing from us very soon, my friend. Start crowdfunding. Start looking for an attorney. You know what I mean? It's gonna be.
Oh, don't worry. This is gonna backfire so fucking much. I can't wait for you guys to see how much.
Be fun.
And Ethan has every right to sue Noah for this. Maybe now one of these radical
He doesn't actually. It's not even gonna get to trial.
Will actually suffer legal consequences for committing crimes. This is
for committing crimes. This guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. He thinks defamation is a crime. Oh my god, this is an adult baby.
Slander. Not only did Noah make this thumbnail straight up accusing Ethan of supporting people being murdered.
He supports genocide and murder. Yeah, that's what he did. As I just said, I just showed you a clip where he did that.
Not only did he remove important context from multiple things in his video,
Like
but
what?
he also doubled down on it.
So he is threatening to sue me for defamation on the grounds that accusing someone of supporting genocide is messed up. I can think of something even more messed up than accusing someone of supporting genocide, which is, actually supporting genocide.
Yeah, he does.
Noah actually has a history of making false accusations with his video titles and thumbnails. This is not a new behavior from him. Speaking of the Alienation drama,
Are you going to I don't care about the Alienation drama. Dude, why do you not try to argue that they don't support genocide? This is a fundamental thing that you need to argue in your video. You can't just tell us he doesn't support genocide. When the points that you've made here are, he said 40,000 Palestinians died, and that it's so sad that it happened, without mentioning how and why it's happening. The genocide being carried out by Israel, the country that he supports unequivocally. And then he donated money. Another point that was refuted by Noah literally immediately afterwards, where he said this is nothing to him. It's pure virtue signaling. And it was. So you aren't even establishing that he's wrong about this. You aren't even trying to. Where's the argument here? Show us. I want to see an argument here. Is it just a bunch of clips of other people? What is this?
Noah Samsen was literally a nobody on YouTube before Hasan Piker started reacting to all of his content.
Who cares? I don't give a shit.
Followers.
You're contesting the fact that the argument that Ethan Klein is a genocide supporter. You need to provide evidence of that. You need to show us how he's not. You need to go over Noah Samsen's actual points regarding this and try to prove it wrong.
This is why he's glazing Hassan so hard here in this drama. And
Hassan, dude, no one fucking cares. Where's the fact? This is just nothing. It's YouTube drama. This guy is such a fucking pathetic loser. That's why he makes videos about anime tits being too small, video games having too many black people and trans people, women with high standards. Oh man, that's your channel. Amazing. I hate women. Why are the video game boobs too small? And now apparently you made a video where you're just like, Noah Samsen accused Ethan Klein of supporting genocide, which by the way is a crime. And also, Ethan Klein doesn't support genocide. However, I'm not going to actually address the arguments and prove that wrong or anything. Oh my god, he makes the argument. He tries to argue that love Sabra is anti-Semitic.
Israel-Palestine
this is amazing.
drama was an infamous
Israel-Palestine
between
drama?
Noah Samsen and Ethan Klein, and probably why he also joined the Israel-Palestine meta like all the other Hassan groupies.
Israel-Palestine meta? There's a fucking genocide going on. What the fuck are you talking about? This isn't a video game. Not everything's a fucking video game. Holy shit.
I think Hassan likes that this conflict's going on. His views were starting to dwindle until this whole October 7th situation happened. Then his views went back up. If you don't think...
I guess if this random bald guy says so...
that he's loving every minute
it must be true.
Israelis or Palestinians kill each other, you're dumb as fuck.
Now, believe it or not, this whole situation between Noah Samsen...
I guess that's true. I guess that guy said so. This baseless speculation. I guess Ethan Klein doesn't support genocide now, and I guess Hasan Piker is wrong. Hey, guess what's worse, right? Because even if this was true, being against genocide, because it benefits you to do so, is a whole lot better than being for genocide for literally any possible reason, okay? So even when you try to make him look bad, you just make yourself look like a fucking moron.
and Ethan Klein actually gets much worse. Defamation isn't the only problem here, but in order to understand what's going on, I feel like I need to add some context.
Okay, add us
so
some
let's
context.
back it up a bit. That being said, a major tipping point in this YouTube/Twitch Israel-Palestine drama was an infamous panel at TwitchCon 2024 where Denham's, Frogan, and some other people that nobody knows did this game where they rated content creators from Arab to love Sabra, which honestly seems like a boring idea for a panel, but apparently there was a hidden dog whistle in there.
Because
There's a hidden dog whistle because Ethan Klein said so.
Frogan is the two-time Rising Star champ, and because of her massive viewership of 100 concurrent viewers, it only makes sense that Twitch would give her one of the main stages at TwitchCon to do a 45-minute long segment. Her idea, that was Twitch approved, an Arab to Jew racial tier list. Top. And
Well, I mean, if Ethan Klein said it was anti-Semitic, it must be.
desirable tier is Arab. And at the bottom, the worst one is, quote, loves Sabra. Now, why does loves Sabra equate to Jews? Sabra is a well-known Israeli company that makes hummus. Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's the fucking point. Sabra is an Israeli company. Israel is well known for stealing hummus from the Palestinians who they stole the land from and claiming it as their own. Thus, if someone loves shitty Israeli mass-produced hummus, thus, they are diametrically opposed to Arab in this tier list, which is not an Arab to Jew tier list. It's a tier list of people who can say the endearing term Habibi, which is basically it's kind of like, who can say the N-word or not, that sort of thing. Thus, okay, Israel being a country that wants to eliminate Arabs from its territory, which it stole, to like a shitty Israeli brand of hummus, it's just about the least Arab and thus the least able to say the term Habibi that you could possibly be. Okay? Very simple. Anti-Semitic dog whistle because Ethan Klein said so. Dude, I can debunk this in 2 seconds. You are literally like a 2 IQ fucking moron. You don't think critically about anything at all. I mean, you don't even have the impulse to think critic. It's like Ethan Klein said it's a dog whistle. I mean, I guess it is. I'm not going to actually look into this and try to learn something so that I can judge for myself whether or not it is. I mean, I guess he said it is. This is precisely the sort of thing that this guy would be incredibly against normally, right? Like, he would see someone saying like, you did like an okay sign. That's a white supremacist symbol. And he'd be like, it's just an okay sign. Come on. It's a well-known symbol. It's not a dog whistle or anything. Oh, and here's Ethan Klein crafting like this grand, ridiculous conspiracy narrative about how actually the very easy to explain reason why this tier list has love Sabra at the end of it, which is because it's a fucking Israeli brand of hummus and Israel genocides Arabs. So obviously that's like the least Arab you could possibly be, is to love the shitty Israeli brand of an Arab food. It's not that, right? It just means Jew. It just means Jew. That's all there is to it. In any other circumstance, even when it is a real dog whistle, he'd be like, oh, you're being fucking ridiculous. Fucking crazy lefties think everything is racism. But in this case, because it's Israel and because he loves to support Israeli genocide, he just goes right for it. Identity politics for me, but not for thee. You see how this is?
Sabra literally means a Jew that was born in Israel. They pull me one of the
it means the brand of hummus is called Sabra. No one
creators.
cares about this fucking Hebrew term except for Israelis.
And immediately put me in Sabra. Love Sabra, literally in this case, means Jew lover. So you're telling me understand what a microaggression is, but you can't understand why a Jewish man might be uncomfortable with this. I feel like this is indefensible.
I'm uncomfortable as a Jewish man. This is everything that people like this would usually just dismiss offhandedly, but now that they can weaponize it, they're all fucking for it. Weaponizing it to support genocide, they're all for
anti-Semitism. And this was greenlit by Twitch.
You are a fucking just identity politics, feelings over facts type guy. You are precisely what you pertain to rally against.
Appear on their main stage.
You've got to be kidding me. They're saying Jew lover as a slur in the modern day.
He just accepts it. He's just, Ethan Klein said so. That's what they're saying then. You got to be kidding me. You said Jew lover as a slur?
Just to Kill a Mockingbird, are we back in the 60s? All these anti-racists are calling people the equivalent of N-word lovers.
This is the dumbest person alive! Oh my god, I would love to talk to this guy live. It would be so funny. Holy shit, I would think before you sleep. I know you don't think very often, let alone before you sleep, but get in contact, come on stream. I want to rack your brain. I want to see how the cogs work in there. I think it would be an enlightening experience for both of us.
As an insult to those who disagree with them.
And again, these are the same people that judged me based on the thumbnail that I used for like the Keffels video. So to give you a quick idea to understand, putting 2 Jews in the F tier kind of gives you an idea of like where they're at.
Okay, so look, I perfectly understand. Now maybe that Ethan Klein and Ben Shapiro are in the F tier because they're crazed genocidal Zionists. You know, they literally believe in Arab genocide and ongoing Arab genocide, no less. Maybe that's why they're there. It's no wonder that this some ordinary gamer's dumb fuck who claims to be anti-genocide and stuff like that is considered pro-genocide, given that he just takes this ridiculous fucking pro-genocide propaganda by Ethan Klein, hook, line, and sinker. What a fucking joke. Does this guy ever try to okay, he's going to try to contest the facts here maybe. Let's see.
And that includes Noah Samsen, which brings us back to Noah's video. You see, ironically, Noah complained that Ethan was a liar who was lying by omission. Here's a reminder of that.
But it's that last thing that I think does quite a bit of damage, lying by omission.
What's funny is that if you actually watch Noah's video and aren't ideologically possessed, you can pretty easily notice that Noah does basically everything that he accuses Ethan of. This is a repeated tactic that he uses in a lot of his content.
Show us some.
And I mean that it is uncanny.
This isn't about the facts, right? It's not about the facts for him. He doesn't want to take a side. Both sides are bad. And here he is, right? Contesting the facts regarding the Israeli genocide of Palestinians. He's going to go in here and go to bat for the Israeli side, trying to contest the facts. It's not about the facts. I'm not pro-Israel or anything. I'm not pro-genocide anyway. Here is me defending genocide, trying to make it look like something that is anti-genocide is actually false. Let's check it out.
How much important context that Noah either removes or completely leaves out for the purpose of radicalizing his audience and enraging them against his enemies. For example,
his enemies, like people doing an ongoing genocide right now.
Noah's video was about people rightfully complaining that Hassan has violated Twitch rules numerous times.
Who gives a shit about Hassan and Twitch rules? I thought you were going to talk about something that matters. Hoofy's attack civilian shit.
Gotten a one-day ban for it. Twitch rules numerous times by doing things like promoting a terrorist organization. and he's only gotten a 1-day ban for it.
He just calls the Houthis a terrorist organization and moves on. He doesn't even try to argue why that is. He doesn't even examine the evidence. He just pops a fucking article on the screen, doesn't tell us who it's from. It's an anti-genocide blockade. The same sort of thing that was carried out by the British against the Nazis in World War II. I'm glad that it's happening, and I hope it continues. Doing nothing against genocide is a whole lot worse than doing something about it, and it doesn't matter how many times you just offhandedly call them terrorists. This guy has no... I thought he was going to try to contest the facts. He doesn't. It's just Hassan Piker.
Right, and only after Twitch
Who gives
started
a
getting
fish about
banned.
Hassan Piker Twitch ban? The video is about fucking genocide.
Press. Yet Asmongold has a single moment where he said some bad stuff.
It's a single moment where he said some bad stuff. Play the bad
He
stuff.
got a 14-day ban. In his video, Noah talks about this ban and shows a clip of Asmongold saying some messed
up stuff. Asmongold outright said that Palestinians deserve to be genocide. Palestinians currently being genocide deserve to be genocide. He said that. And then he gave an insincere apology afterwards and continued to do the exact same far-right propaganda that he'd always been doing.
up things.
Asmongold made some
Again, this is virtue signaling. This is you get caught out, you get backlash for calling for fucking genocide, and then you pretend to retract what you said. That's what happened.
comments that explicitly justified Israel's genocide of Palestinians in Gaza.
I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. They come from an inferior culture. I don't feel
literally. Look at
bad
that.
for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't care. I don't support them.
Noah actually shows this moment in both the videos that he's being sued for. And I'll agree that this clip is pretty bad. If
It's
you
just pretty bad, you know.
only saw that, you would think that Asmongold is a horrible person.
Yeah,
This
he is a horrible
the obvious
person.
conclusion that anyone
Obviously, everyone knows he's a horrible person.
would come to if you don't know much else about him, which probably describes most of Noah's audience. There's one problem, though. Asmongold very famously apologized for these statements. Now, since 2 years ago,
When there's backlash, you virtue signal and pretend that you didn't actually mean what you meant, what you clearly said. This guy is just, how dare you not, like, uncritically accept the virtue signaling, like, pretend apologies of people who have consequences for their actions. Does he actually try to contest anything here? What about this part? Support from Israeli society. Let's see if he actually tries to deal with the facts at any point.
it's always terrible when innocent people are hurt in the crossfire of war, which is why I'm very
They're hurt in the crossfire of war. This is a systematic attempt to erase the Palestinians of Gaza as identifiable people by massacring them. These are not people hurt in the crossfire of war. Them being hurt and massacred is the whole point. And you're trying to claim that, you know, I'm in the center here. I'm not on either side. I think they both do bad things. Well, you literally whitewash an ongoing genocide. This is like referring to victims of the Holocaust as little more than people being caught in the crossfire of war. Obviously, if you did that, you would be for the Holocaust. You would be downplaying it and thus enabling it. That's what you're doing here. You're on the Israeli side. Doesn't matter how much you say both sides are bad, you dumb fuck.
anti-war and very against the use of violent tactics. However,
Oh,
remember that
violent
Noah's
tactics.
biggest criticism of Ethan Klein is that Ethan was lying by omission by not telling the Palestine side of the war. Well, this war is a two-way street, and both sides have done some pretty awful things.
Now, let us imagine that someone is talking about the Holocaust. And then another guy comes along and says, hey, why are you talking about the Nazi perspective of this war? You know, wars have two sides. And then you were like, it's like a systematic extermination of an ethnic group. I don't really care about the Nazi perspective on that. That is what this guy is arguing here. He's literally doing standpoint epistemology for a genocide. He's doing standpoint epistemology. His argument here is, why aren't you considering the thoughts and feelings of the people doing the genocide? This is a right-winger who is like anti-SJW, facts over feelings. Oh, get out of here with the identity politics and the virtue signaling. And his best argument here is, why don't you consider the poor, marginalized Israeli perspectives, the guys doing genocide? Okay. Now let's get to the good part. Let's see if you can try to contest the facts here, because it is a fact, a provable fact, that for one, the Israelis are obviously wrong, empirically provable fact, and for two, that the Israelis overwhelmingly support the genocide. And rather than talking about like what is right, like who is actually right here, this guy's like, there's two sides to every story, and both sides here are the same. It's not that like different sides have better evidence, better proof that, you know, proves their case, and perhaps one side is wrong and the other side is in the right. No. We have to consider both sides equally. The genociders and the genocided. The neck and the boot. This guy is... I don't even know. There's like not a scale for me to use that exists for how stupid he is. This is a next level stupidity.
The problem here is that Noah only tells the Palestinian side of the story, while at the same time, this is how he represents the Israelis.
There's a comment I saw on Ethan Klein's video. It read, "I feel like a lot of people can't separate Israelis and the Israeli government, and the same with the other side. Like you are allowed to hate on the people who actually kill people and not hate the innocent adults and children that are being killed from both sides. This is a popular framing among liberals and liberal outlets that we should separate the Israeli people from the actions of their government. While there are some examples from the past where this may be true, such as the case of the American public's attitudes towards the end of the Vietnam War, which diverged from their government, the same cannot be said in the case of Israel. The vast majority of the Israeli public supports this genocide. Months into the genocide, polling showed that over 95% of Jewish Israelis supported the IDF's actions, with a majority of those in..."
This is true. This is true. You notice how he says he's not contesting the facts, and he just puts like a bunch of random text with MS Paint trying to claim this is not true.
Indicating that the IDF was not using enough force.
Like, look at this little text he put in the corner. NOAA uses polling data from like 10 minutes after October 7th, in November 2023, when they'd already killed 10,000 Palestinians. And he says, of course, the Jews are mad. What? So the Israelis are genocidal, but rather than contesting that fact, he tries to justify them being genocidal with the Jews are mad, and he calls Israelis just the Jews. Just the Jews, right? For him, there's no difference between an Israeli and the Jew. Isn't it funny how quickly the right-winger whose anti-identity politics reverts to nothing more than a rank appeal to identity politics, trying to be like, they're just Jews, right? They're just Jews. Like, they're perennially oppressed. They're basically victims of the Holocaust. And of course, they're gonna wanna, massacre and genocide the people who they already wanted to massacre and genocide before this. I don't know if you know, but history didn't begin on October 7th. I don't know if you know, but they've been doing this sort of thing since fucking 100 years or so ago at this point. Israel is a country entirely based on the dispossession of Palestinians and their eventual complete extermination or expulsion for the benefit of Israeli Jews. This isn't new. None of this is new. Like, how dare you use this poll? Like, he doesn't try to contest the facts. He just tries to justify it and tries to say that the genocidal Israeli public, overwhelmingly genocidal Israeli public, literally, in this poll, 95% at least, openly genocidal. And this guy's like, well, of course they're going to be genocidal. How could you expect anything less? It's justified, actually. They're Jewish.
In Gaza. The force in question there being, genocide. They wanted more. It wasn't enough. This should come as no surprise, given Israel's history. A country that exists on the logic of ethnic supremacy and colonization requires a certain level of dehumanization to keep its inhabitants from collapsing under the weight of the reality of their rotten society.
Yes, so those were some harsh words. Someone with 6,000 likes on his comment tries to humanize the innocent on both sides. Well,
He tries to humanize the innocents on both sides. How does supporting genocide make you an innocent? 95% of Israelis, okay? 95%, that's 19 out of 20 people support genocide outright. They want the Palestinians gone, expelled, wiped off the face of the earth. And you're like, trying to humanize innocent people on both sides? How does supporting a genocide carried out for your benefit by your country, 20 kilometers away from where you live, how are you innocent when you support that? You're not fucking innocent. This is a guy talking about like the innocent Nazi Party voters who had nothing to do with the Holocaust.
Aiming blame at the evil people who are actually causing the war, yet Noah takes the radical...
How the fuck is 95% of the population supporting the war, not them being evil people? Obviously, this could not happen without the support of them. This could not happen without them. Something of this scale cannot happen without massive societal support, without massive complicity. And the polling proved that. Rather than argue against that, your argument is just, this is sort of problematic. This is not a good look, dude. How dare you say that? No rebuttal to the actual facts. Just how dare you? Because you know that you're factually incorrect and you have no line of argument to support your fucking claims.
And dehumanizes one side by saying, actually, the Israelis are
He dehumanizes them by showing you what they believe.
Evil and rotten. Noah spends quite a bit of time establishing that basically all, not some, but basically all Jews in Israel are a bunch of murderers. Now, by comparison, Ethan just said there were...
He showed a poll that shows that 95% of Israelis, at a minimum, support the Gaza genocide. Clearly. In fact, he showed a poll that showed that a majority of them think they're not going far enough. You can't contest that, so literally all of this is nothing. Like, how dare you say... Like, how dare you even say this? How dare you show me these facts that I don't like, that conflict with my narrative, that conflict with how I want things to be. How could you ever do that? You are the social justice warrior here, dude. You are the fucking caricature of like a blue-haired screaming lady that you think others are. This is nothing. You have no arguments, no facts, nothing but feelings.
But a lot of innocent people have suffered on both sides, and maybe the Israelis and the Palestinians could figure out a peaceful two-state solution. On the
I need you on my stream. Come on. If you respond to this without accepting the invitation, you're a fucking pussy little bitch. And you don't want to be a pussy little bitch, do you? You want to be an emasculated little bitch, huh? You're a right-winger. You're all masculine, huh? You like traditional gender roles? Well, prove that you conform to them by coming onto my stream and talking to this. I want to rack your brain. We need a peaceful two-state solution, he says, as one side is literally trying to physically eliminate the other from existence. Holy fuck.
On the other hand, Noah spends the entire time in both of his videos making the Israelis look like the most evil scumbags in the world. I can only imagine that he's doing this with the intent of making his...
How does he do that? By citing facts that you don't like? That shows that they actually do support this genocide?
Audience violent. Noah continues his anti-Israel messaging by showing a few interviews of Israeli citizens and their thoughts on Palestinians.
Another way to get a handle on the seemingly ubiquitous genocidal fervor among Israelis is by just talking to them.
How many civilians have been killed in Gaza, from what you know?
Who gives a shit?
Okay, but don't you feel like, for example, children?
Children grow up to be Arabs. I read the numbers last week. My memory died and went to heaven. I don't think children should suffer, but they're always casualties. And since they do a lot of...
This is literally this guy's... she's like, I don't think children should suffer, but unfortunately people happen to die during war. That's literally the same talking point this guy is using. It's the same. Holy fuck, you're like this woman.
That is a natural result.
Most of the kids there that are getting killed, I never support little children dying, you know? I never want it. But most of them will grow up.
This guy literally, you believe this. Why do you pretend you don't agree with this?
Which is a crime.
I know you're going to virtue signal after this and pretend that you're against it, but we know what you really believe. That's why you made this video.
By itself. But joining them, which is the worst of the worst.
These people know that they're on camera and that these remarks will be posted on the internet or shared on the mainstream news. This is normal to them. This is normal in their society, which is a testament to the fact that their society is not normal. Simply put, it's a genocidal society, top to bottom.
It is.
Now, I can agree that those are some very harsh words. However, people don't just say horrible things like this without a reason.
He's trying to justify it. They're just harsh words. So he's literally saying, sure, they're genocidal, but they have a good reason for it. It's justified.
Noah tried to show why the Israelis are saying these things in an attempt to maybe add some nuance and not...
Add some nuance to the people openly calling for and supporting an ongoing genocide.
Do the exact same thing that he accused Ethan Klein of? No, he doesn't. Noah never asked why Jewish people would say this stuff.
Jewish people, again, the reduction of genocidal Zionist Israelis into just Jews. They're a special group of people who get to have special views like, we support genocide. Why aren't you asking why the Israelis might say this stuff? Why aren't you asking why they might be genocidal? Why aren't you considering the poor marginalized perspective of the genociders? I think that's a good point. That's a good point. Think before you sleep. I wonder why we didn't consider this perspective of the Nazis. I mean, after all, they thought that there was a grand Jewish conspiracy to keep them down. You ever heard of that? Well, I mean, I guess that's an equally valid perspective that we should all be thinking about all the time when we talk about the Holocaust. The poor marginalized German perspective. Victims of the Jews, right? That's basically what you're saying here, is that we have to think about these people and where they're coming from in their support of genocide. I'll tell you where they're coming from. They live in a country, a racially supremacist country, based entirely on invading another land, stealing it from the people who are already there, and subsequently trying to get rid of them as much as possible to take what they have for yourself. So when you ask this question of, why do Israelis support the genocide of Palestinians? It's because it benefits them. It's because they get something out of it. They get to steal their land, their homes, and they get rid of the inconvenience that their existence poses to them. That's why. So I'm glad that I could answer that question for you. Let's see what your answer to that question is.
Well, as someone who did basic research on this, maybe it has something to do with...
As someone who did basic research on this, he doesn't have a side here, right? He's against both sides. Both sides are bad. Anyway, here's some Israeli propaganda. It's justified because of October 7th.
Hamas massacring people on October 7th. Like Noah, it turns out that I also happen to have a friend who lives in the area, so I thought I'd ask him about the Jewish perspective on...
I asked my Israeli friend, my genocidal Israeli friend, to tell me about the Israeli propaganda. Can we get some genocidal Israeli propaganda on the genocide, please? Can we get some nuance here? Could we hear from the Nazi? Could we hear from the SS officer? Oh, this is the dumbest fucker in the world. Holy shit. Okay, I'm tapping out. That's too much. I'm not watching another 30 minutes of this. This guy is the dumbest fucker in the world. We need to get the genocider's perspective out of this. And he's like, I'm not going to contest the facts. I don't care about the facts. And then he's like, well, actually, the truth is that Israel is right and justified. And the genocidal Israelis, at best, when they're genocidal, it's kind of like harsh words and they're justified in being genocidal. But, you know, he's neutral. He's neutral. He's in the center. Both sides are bad. Anyway, here's an Israeli openly calling for genocide, which I personally think is justified, and I understand where they're coming from. Amazing. Think before you sleep. You support genocide. You are a vile genocide supporter. The blood of Palestinian children is now on your hands, along with the hands of Ethan Klein, Mudahar, and all these other people. I'll say that openly and proudly. Come at me with your fucking lawsuit, you dumb fuck. For the crime of defamation, as you said. Well, how fucking embarrassing. These Sloptubers need to be stopped. They need to be banned from everything. They should not be allowed to blurt out this crap and profit from it. Like, I asked my Nazi friend for some perspective on the systematic, organized, broadly societally supported genocide of the Palestinian people in order to steal their land. Now ask your Nazi friend for his perspective on the need to eliminate the Jews in the Holocaust, dude. Might as well.